Start with a general question in terms of Cincinnati athletics. What's new? What's exciting? What's coming up the pipeline?
So continued growth is what's new. Obviously, when you go onto our campus now, it doesn't take you long to figure out what we're doing, which is we're building a new indoor facility, which is going to be ready in a year, less than a year now, on time, on budget. It takes that corner of campus, and just reinvents that corner. It's a new indoor, 100,000 square foot performance center, which is football mostly, but then also a nutrition center. So that's the first thing you notice. But then also, we're redoing a lot of different things around our facilities. New turf in soccer. We just got baseball, new turf. So just a lot of those type of upgrades that we need to do to be ready next year.
Is that a project that causes you a lot of stress, or is it kind of you just have to let it roll with how it goes?
I don't get too into the weeds on it because I don't understand it enough. So I have John Daniel working on that for me, and he's really taking the bull by the horns and gives me updates. Maybe withholds bad information from me, which I appreciate, until it's time to make a decision on that. But it really has gone pretty smoothly, knock on wood, so far. Again, it seems like it's going to be ready to roll, and it's going to be a beautiful facility. I mean, it's not just your pole barn. It's a beautiful piece to campus. Fits our architectural designs that we have on campus, and the emphasis that we place on architecture. It fits all of that, so it's going to be special.
John, we talked earlier, obviously, looking around here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas compared to last season at AT&T Stadium. Just your first thoughts on Big 12 Media Day out here in Las Vegas?
I think it's great. I mean, I expect nothing less from the Big 12. They're going to do it big. They're going to do it right. I think it made a lot of sense with the 4 new schools coming in this year to come out west and to come to Vegas. And, I think it just adds to the sparkle of our conference. And it's, we're certainly about big events, big brands, and Vegas is that. And it was also really fun to bring our 4 young student athletes out here who had never been out to Vegas. Most of them hadn't been this far west in their lives, and get to see Vegas through their eyes. And it's a special place. It's a spectacular place, and so it's a good fit for the Big 12.
You hired Coach Satterfield obviously last year for A9. A lot of fans really upset. How confident are you that this season is going to be a turning point in his tenure, and he's going to really flip the narrative for him as the coach of UC?
Yeah, everything you see behind the scenes is exactly what you want to see from a team that hasn't been as successful as they wanted to be, which is a focus on the basics, a focus on culture, a focus on hard work, a focus on getting leadership from the team. Great teams are led by the players, right? And so that's what I've seen behind the scenes. So every single thing you want to see is taking place. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and prove it. So that's what we realize, and that's what Coach Satterfield realizes. Talking to the guys last night, they realize it. They're putting an appropriate amount of pressure on themselves to go out there and perform, because it's important for them that they represent the university and our fan base the way that we want it represented, which is to go out there not just to compete but to win games.
What do you have to do in your job to kind of roll with the punches of the ever-changing landscape of college athletics? Transfer portal, 2-time transfer waivers, revenue sharing. How hard is it to keep up with everything that's there?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with everything just because it changes all the time. But I think you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to have that flexibility to change course. Everybody's learned that, and I think it really, for me, it started back with COVID and everything that brought with it. Kind of trained you to just stay on your toes, watch for changes and adjust and accept reality as the way it is, but then also be innovative and make sure you're ahead of the curve. So all those things are taking place in our athletics department, and that's what I expect from my staff and my coaches and really our student athletes as well.
John, you got to know Dante very well throughout your time here. What's been the message from you to him as he deals with this very unfortunate and scary situation that he's dealing with?
Just take care of yourself. Absolutely, and Coach Satterfield said it when he was on the big stage today. Dante's health is the most important thing. And so we wanted to make sure that we put the right people around him. We have, Aaron Himmler, our head athletic trainer, our doctors, helping Dante out, making sure that we're getting him the care he needs, getting him to a specialist in this area, making sure that we're doing everything we're supposed to do with his health going forward. So at that point, then once his health is back to where it needs to be, then you start having discussions about is there a possibility to play football or not. But you don't even have those until you get his health back to where it needs to be, and that's what we're working on.
John, after one season in the Big 12, where do you guys feel like you stack up in terms of facility upgrades and other everything staff?
I haven't seen all the facilities. I've been to most of the campuses, but I haven't necessarily seen all the facilities. But once we have our new indoor and performance center, we'll be as good as anybody in the country in terms of our football facilities. And so there's other things we got to look at. In other sports that we have to address. I've talked about baseball, track and field. There's just some things that we have to do around with locker rooms for all of our student athletes. So there's some next steps that we have to take. But to get this indoor, which is used by all sports, not just the football facility. I mean, it's used all the time. So to get the indoor set up, looking right, and being high level was really, really important. And then the performance center with it, and the nutrition center, which is to me maybe the most important part of the whole project because it brings all of our student athletes together around nutrition and fueling our student athletes the right way to compete. We haven't had that.
One more for John.
John, new turf at Gettler Stadium. Just walk us through what that intervention was, basically putting in the new turf and how that came about.
We moved it up a year. It was scheduled to go in next year, but as we talked to our student athletes and our coaching staff, we realized that it wasn't quite where it needed to be from a soccer standpoint. And so, I thank our CFO on campus, and then also John Daniel, who's our CFO within athletics, for making it work to get it done this year because it was important to our program to get it done. It looks beautiful, very sharp. It's got that dual color green going, and it's an important piece to our campus because everything on our campus is so visible. That's a visible piece to our campus, and so it'll be good to get that done. Used by every student on campus at some point, so it's not just an athletics facility. That's another very unique thing about all of our facilities. And so when I look out my window at night, it's usually intramurals out there and students out there. So we were happy to get a really great turf down, and everybody gets to use it.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.